Don't!
This is one of old Hollywood's wildest scandals.
A story about my grandparents, film producer Walter Wanger, and actress Joan Bennett. I'm Vanessa Hope.
And I'm Karina Longworth. Together with Vanity Fair and Cadence 13, we'll tell this untold story, a film noir played out in real life.
Introducing Love is a Crime. Tune in at listen.vanityfair.com/loveisacrime.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
This month on the 11th, a writer named Sarah shares the story of a false accusation of sexual misconduct. And then her inbox is flooded with hundreds of other people saying they too have been falsely accused. A professor, a federal government whistleblower, a candidate for sheriff. What responsibility does she have to these other stories, these other people? Was it her role to decide who's telling the truth? That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
And welcome into the Fan Morning Show pre-show for this wonderful Thursday. It's a Thursday. Colin Dunlap alongside Chris Mack. Producer Matt, he's in his spot. Jude Colony, we think he's coming to work to stay today at 8 o'clock. Who knows? We'll talk about that later. Good morning to you, Chris. How is everything?
It's good. Real quick, I wanted to, we get actual hard copy print newspapers like once a week now, right?
Thursdays, it looks like, yeah.
And I just wanted to applaud Alexandra Wimley, Andrew Rush, whose photos are on A1 today, the Post-Gazette.
He's a wonderful guy, too.
And the layout, whoever did the layout of A1 today, because there's this photo of two adults. I'll show it to the camera. Two adults yelling at each other outside the school board meeting about masks, right? Okay? Regardless of your views on it. And then down below, there's a picture of little kids in Point Breeze, Pittsburgh Public Schools. They're being shown some kind of plastic bug or something. And they're all just calmly, taking it in. They've got their masks on. And it really goes to show that this entire thing has two things are exemplified by this front page of the Post-Gazette this morning. One, the adults have become the children and the children have become the adults through this thing. And two, print newspapers still matter. Like the layout and those photos together, the way they juxtapose each other, you don't get that online. And it's just really great work, and I wanted to mention it.
Do you know what? It is great work. It is really great work because there's above the fold, below the fold, two strong photos. You know what I noticed about the photo? Is that the doctor doesn't have her mask on right.
I know. It's just.
I am just.
But that's what I mean. And really, and I saw it in our community yesterday. I don't go looking at the TJ Parents Community Facebook page or whatever it is. But my wife is on one of those pages and just watches. She doesn't really comment at all. And she was showing me some of this stuff yesterday because they changed it, at a school board meeting. They said, well, instead of optional, the elementary kids are going to have to wear masks. And people just went ape. They went bananas on each other. Again, both sides of the argument just went ape on each other. And it's, again, all I'll say is the adults have become the children and the children have become the adults.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of strong feelings on it, but nobody wants to hear them.
Right. And that's why I'm not giving my opinions on the matter. I'm just saying the great job by the Post-Gazette layout and just be nicer to each other, people, as humans.
Yeah, I think we're in people's business way too much. That's just my thought on everything. But how about this? This happened yesterday, and I forgot to bring it up. And maybe our friend Cheryl Moon from PennDOT can help us. I actually think I've consulted with her on this before, because this happened to a friend and she passed along a number. But this, I wasn't, my property was not damaged by this, but it spooked me. I'm getting off the Parkway yesterday. I'm coming up the Parkway. I'm getting off at Green Tree. Mm-hmm. And in front of me, there are 3 trucks, and they are going approximately 1.5 miles an hour. And they are, and it says, do not pass, line painting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
A lot of line painting recently.
And he has the thing down, the guard over the back, so if you crash into him, it serves as like a shock absorber,
Mm-hmm.
And it's right at the exit, and they're getting off there. And I navigated through there, and you could see the bright white lines of like the exit, the dotted ones, and then the ones that go around. I went around there so slow so as not to get any paint on my tires, so it didn't go up under the car into the wheel well. And it was is there ever a good time to do that at a place where essentially you can't shut down the intersection? I was thinking about that because I have a friend who has a car, and to this day, they just sold this car. And they must have had this car 2-3 years, right? And maybe they bought it used, I don't know. But I would see it parked in this lot where we'd both go, and there was bright yellow paint up underneath the wheel well where I could tell that they had run over what had been just a really recently painted yellow line, and I just did not want to be that person.
I get super anxious.
Oh.
Well, and this starts from 4 years ago. So I used to do the Pirates pre and post with Jack Sorensic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jack comes in one day. He's like, I can't believe it. I was driving down 79 to come in, and there wasn't even a truck. There wasn't even a line painting truck. He just went over a white line as he was changing lanes. It must have still been wet. The whole, like, sort of undercarriage, not undercarriage, but like the fender down below the doors.
Right.
On one side was splattered white. And he's got this big, black, beautiful truck. And so I really started to become super anxious about it then. And he had to go through a big thing with PennDOT where, like, they ended up compensating him for the damage to his car and all this. But so I saw line painting. Jim told me the line painting story the other day. It's why he was almost late on Monday morning.
That's right.
Because he got stuck on the Portal Bridge.
He did
while
say
they
that.
were line painting the Fort Pitt Bridge.
What if it took them that long to get from the bridge all the way to the Green Tree
It's the
exit?
same line painting
yeah.
crew, and they've just been
It's
going
the same
that slow.
line.
Yeah.
It's continuous line, and
One
they
line.
just go that slow.
They're literally using like a white marker.
I was so scared, though. I
saw one the other day that I was like, I found myself, it was in the middle of an intersection, right?
Did they have it coned off?
No, they were picking the cones up. So they had laid the paint down, and they were now picking the cones up. But then you see them picking the cones up. You're like, well, how long was it since you painted those things?
And the arrow's real bright on the ground, and you know they just painted it.
And I'm like, well, I got to make a left here.
I'm with you.
And it's a weird intersection kind of behind Aldi and West Mifflin, but in front of Home Depot where, like, cars are coming one way, and there's a turning lane, but sometimes people don't turn. And you're like, I'm already having trouble navigating this intersection. But now I've also got to worry about driving over paint. And then you find yourself like staying too far away from the center line as you go down the road.
I seem to remember my friend Dan, who, by the way, they found his lost dog that I showed you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. They did?
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it on the
The
air.
poor blind deaf dog?
Blind deaf dog ran away, my friend Dan. It ran, and they found it at a auto shop garage. It ran across Route 8, though. Blind deaf dog made it across Route 8.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, I can't make that up. Cannot make that up. And they found it, and they just returned it.
That's
They're
$1 million to 1.
It's an incredible feat for the blind deaf dog, who should be in the blind deaf dog Olympics for getting across Route 8. Okay. Anyway, my friend Dan, I think it was him too. He's another person. He ran over a line, and he was like, "Do you know anybody that can help me with this?"
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I put him in touch with somebody, and their response pretty much was, "You should keep it between the lines. You shouldn't be driving on the line." I think
that's all they had?
I think so. I think that's what happened to my friend Dan, that they were like, hey, lines are there for a reason. You shouldn't be in them. That's how you got.
Well, see, I ran into a similar problem
because
yesterday.
It wasn't an arrow like in the middle of the road. It was like
just line in the middle and line on the side, right?
Yeah, don't drive on the lines.
So what do you do in this situation? This is not line painting, but it's very similar because you're worried about damage to your car, okay?
Okay.
I show up to Aldi to pick up our Instacart order.
In
right?
one of the 4 spots you're supposed to go in, right?
Okay. And I go to pull into the parking lot, and literally you cannot get to the spots that you're supposed to park in for pickup because they've sealed the asphalt. And they've got that corner of the parking lot like coned off. You can't get to it. It's impossible. But I see 2 cars are over there already. And I need to pick up my groceries. I just told them I'm on the way to pick up my groceries, right?
Okay.
So I kind of wiggle between 2 cones. There's enough room between 2 cones that I can sneak through real slowly and carefully. Some lady yells at me, "That part of the lot's closed."
Why were the cones there?
to keep people off of it, I guess.
Okay.
But you have to get to those spots to pick up your order.
Yeah, or else they
won't bring it out.
They're like painted green, those spots. They're like
and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right next to the handicap spots.
Well, these ones at this Aldi in particular aren't next to the handicap spots. They're in a different corner of the lot.
Yeah, so are the ones where they're like the end of the building, like the very corner.
They come out the back door with your cart full of groceries. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had to pull into the spot. I had to.
Got to get there.
And so I just waved to the lady as she yelled at me. She wasn't an employee. She was just some random crazy lady
Then
in a
her business
lot.
is not your business.
Exactly.
And mind your own. That's where I am with it.
So I pull into the spot, and here's the kicker to the story, my friend.
Okay.
Guy comes out. I got the trunk popped. He's loading the groceries into the trunk. I hear a thunk, thunk, thunk. All the bags are in the trunk. And then he closes the trunk, and he starts to walk away. I roll down the window. I'm like, hey, thank you. Appreciate it. And he doesn't respond at all. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's busy. Roll my window back up. I see him turn around. He stops, pivots for a second, comes back over, and he's like, hey.
Gives you a different name.
No, checks the last name, right? I'm like, yep, you got it. And I pull away. I get home. My wife walks out of the office before I could even set the first bag of groceries down on the island.
Right.
She's like, you got to turn around and go back. They gave us the wrong order.
Well, why?
I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, he's checked the name.
Champ at Aldi checked the last name and got it right. And then I look at the label on the bags. It's
Wrong
a completely
bags.
different name. It's like Chamberlain or something.
Not too long ago, this happened to me. They loaded the car up. There were 2 Dunlaps.
Oh, my God.
And I go, what? My wife's first name. And they go, no, it's a different name. And I know the other family. We're not related to them. Guy's a dentist. And I go, no, that's the wrong one. They go, were you sure? I go, well, yeah, I'm sure who I am. And then they had to take it all out and put it back in.
Well, here's the thing. Since we got it home, they wouldn't let us return it.
Oh, my God.
Because of, like, safety
Perishables,
protocols.
yeah.
And so they gave us, they shipped our order to the house.
Oh, my gosh.
Like an hour and a half later, our actual order.
Oh,
and we got these other people's groceries now. The
Well,
crazy
do they
part
have good
is
stuff?
The crazy part is it's stuff that we usually get.
There you go.
Like a bag of green peppers and some granola bars and a gallon of milk. And it was like, well, we just got free groceries out of this deal. Maybe we should let them get it wrong more often.
Oh, text here, Cheryl Moon, P1 listener to our show.
Yes.
We love her from PennDOT.
Cheryl.
She writes, Colin, we did the Fort Pitt and Fort Duquesne bridges Sunday night into Monday to avoid people tracking it being painted. That's what they did. They painted. We're doing a lot more painting right now because, as with anything, there was a paint shortage earlier this summer.
Thank you, Cheryl.
We normally do not compensate for damage, but here's the deal. Tell people immediately go out and wash it before it sets. Give me a minute, and I'll give you a treatment if that doesn't happen. Stay back and avoid it is the best remedy. And it does say in 7 million font, stay back line painting. So she is absolutely right. And if you do get it on, hurry. And I stayed back. Cheryl, I was halfway down Green Tree Hill looking at this truck being like, I can't go anywhere near this. I can't go anywhere near this. That is the one truck that says stay back 200 feet or whatever that I actually listened to, that paint truck. Because I don't want it on. I'll get hit with a rock. Hey, fine. That paint, I don't want it on my car. I just don't. So I stay way back. But a paint shortage, as with anything. I never thought of that.
Huh.
She is the absolute best. I know that people at PennDOT get a hard time.
They do.
She is just wonderful person. Wonderful person. Anyway, lots to get into today. We get our requisite quarterback talk out of the way very early. We do that. We might come back to it a little bit.
I think a little bit in a different vein.
There's not a who's going to be Andrew Filipponi. Blah, blah. We're not going to talk about it like that. We have a different way to attack it. Take it or flush it in the first hour. A game just ended, and I mean that. A baseball game just ended. We get into that. And don't forget, Nick Costas. Oh, yes. We talked to him coming up at 9 o'clock to give you all your betting tips. Everybody? Oh, yeah. Good morning.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment. Smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Coming September 1st, Rewind 9/11.
Today, we've had a national tragedy.
An incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center.
A look back at the tragedy of that day.
Another explosion has taken place at the Pentagon.
It became very apparent that what was happening was terrorism.
Fox News presents Rewind 9/11.
The people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Listen on Odyssey,